Oh, hey there. I'm Hinkle with my co-host, Sam Rupe.
And we're going to be talking about the Panther Recap. Volleyball plays in the state semifinal this Saturday at 4 p.m., I believe.
Football will be playing at 7 p.m. at the Rock against Fairfield Union.
On Friday.
Well,
now, Hunter, I have a little magic trick before we get to our interviews, all right? What's your favorite kind of chips?
Probably all of them.
All right.
How'd you do that?
We'll send it to my favorite interviewer, Sam Rupe. Take it away. Hello, everyone. I'm Sam Rupe. I'm here with Lexi Foreman, Coach Board, and Gracie Newlon, and we'll be talking about volleyball. Well, Coach Board, Pleasant, that's the team you're playing, right, is a program with a strong history. And when you scouted them this week, what stood out most about how they play?
Yeah, I think the two biggest things that I've noticed watching film is Cameron Cockrell, number 8. She's their outside hitter. She's a stud. She's got 500 kills or something on the season. So she's going to be a tough one to try to slow down. And the next biggest thing just noticed was very, very good serving team. They average a lot of aces, and so that's a strategy that they're going to try to take against us. So that's what we're going to try to combat this week.
So Gracie, going along with what Coach Board said, after watching Pleasant on film, what sticks out about their style, and how does that shape the way you prepare for the match?
I think they're going to be a dominant team on all aspects, like Coach said, swinging, serving. I think we are really going to focus on resilience this week. Like, we know they're going to get their kills. They're probably going to get their aces. They average a lot of them. What can we do the next ball to be better, and what can we do to take that away from them?
Well, Coach, your win over Adina showed not just skill, but in-game adjustments. What from that match gives you the confidence going into the state semifinal?
Just resiliency. I know we talked about that in the last podcast, but it's been kind of the theme of our team all year long. That's something that we started off with practices of trying to teach them that you guys have the talent, you guys have the skill, but if you're going to shut down mentally, then any team can beat you on any given day. And so that's been a strength of ours, is just really trying to understand that other teams are going to have a lot of great strengths, and we need to use our opportunities and sets to continue to learn. Like, what are they serving? How can we read their servers a little bit better? How can we read their setters' hands a little bit better? How can we read their hitters' hands? Like, just trying to read that information and then try to use that to adjust and make it stronger as the game goes on. And I think that's something that we have done probably too many times. Is the first set sometimes is not always our strongest, but continues to get stronger as we go, just knowing that we have that opportunity to continue to learn. So.
So, Gracie, in the Adina match, your team stayed poised, under control, especially through those first two sets, even with the big momentum swing during the third set. So, how do you guys plan to replicate that same calm under pressure in the Final Four?
We just go into a game knowing that we've been there before. We can handle whatever's thrown at us if we just stay together. I feel like is the biggest thing. So really just rely on each other, rely on our coaches. Just know that we're capable of overcoming anything in that moment if we stick together.
Well, Coach, at this stage in the season, the difference often comes down to the very, very small details. So what specific detail have you emphasized most in practice this week?
Lots of serve receive, lots of defense. Knowing that those are how they're going to try to attack, we're just trying to see how clean that we can be on those ends, just to try to slow them down in the slightest bit. So those have been big things that we've been trying to really locate ourselves into, but then also really trying to lean into our own strengths with our offense and our serves. I think we do a great job with that as well. So just trying to hone into those strengths, but more importantly, just trying to figure out small ways that we can try to slow down them. If we can get, a point, if we could get her one less kill, one less ace throughout the course of that game, that could be the difference maker.
Sure. When you're down early in a set, Gracie, what do you focus on to help set the tone for the team?
I think we focus on just smalls, chipping away. I think if we can get that next point and really focus on that, we go on a lot of runs, but I think if we can just go 2-3 points at a time and just continue chipping, I think that's our best bet in those moments.
Well, Coach, the state semifinal, Final Four stage brings louder crowds and higher emotions. How do you make sure that your team is comfortable in that kind of atmosphere?
We try to talk about it as much as possible throughout the course of this week, just to make them prepared for that, so that they know that, and then we try to come up with, like, what's your plan, right? When you start getting nervous in this situation, how are you going to get yourself back under control? When we find ourselves in a situation in a game that it seems out of control, what can we tell ourselves in those moments? So trying to do as much mental prep. We also crank the music as loud as it'll go in the gym so that they have to learn how to talk within those, so that they're not really fazed by that, which they enjoy just because the music's really loud and they can't hear me talking anymore, I'm sure. But yeah, we try to do just little things like that we can do that hopefully can kind of tune out a lot of those distractions.
Yeah. So Gracie, Coach Board talked about what the team does to prepare for that, but when things get intense for you, what helps you stay grounded and focused in that type of environment?
I like to completely focus on my team. I like to drown out the crowd. Most of the time I can't even really hear it. If I make a mistake or something, or I'm down on myself, I just focus on what does my team need, how can I encourage somebody else, and that always seems to help me stop thinking about it and just really focus on the team in general.
Well, Coach, the MVL has seen major success recently. Last year, Riverview boys soccer won state, and Maysville men's basketball won state. How meaningful would it be for New Lexington Volleyball to join that kind of success in the league?
That'd be huge. It'd be awesome. Just got chills kind of thinking about that. But I think that would be really special. I think this group has had their sights set on that for a long time, and they've been working for that. And you have to have a little bit of luck along the way, and you got to be able to play some really good volleyball. And so hopefully both of those will kind of fall our way. But I think it would be special. I think the regional Saturday was huge just because nobody's done that before. And so if we can elevate that 2 more games, I feel like they've already etched their name in history and created their own legacy, but that would be incredible to be able to add that to this team's list of achievements and successes.
Definitely. So, Gracie, seeing other MVL schools go to state in volleyball, win state in other sports, I'm thinking specifically about Meadowbrook here and their support for you. Does that push you, inspire you, or add a sense of pride to what's at stake?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it says a lot about our league too. It is super competitive, but it's also one that I think wants the best for others. So just Meadowbrook, I feel like being there Saturday, seeing them in the crowd almost fired us up a little bit. I think if people say our league's not competitive or anything like that, we've got 2 teams going to the Final Four and have potential to win state. So I think it's just great all around for the NBL.
Yeah. Well, Coach, this group has talked a lot about connection and trust, and many of them have grown up together. So where has that shown most in the matches as matches have gotten tougher?
Honestly, I think their pregame. Every time that I go to check in with them, and start doing my pregame talk and pregame things with them, I never know what I'm going to walk into. They are always doing something fun, something together. I always seem to have some type of laugh, and I'm just shaking my head of just what on earth. But especially you on Saturday. Woo! Never seen Gracie dance the way that I saw her coming into that. But anyways, I just feel like that is a priority to them, that they're going to come in, they're going to make sure that their team chemistry, their camaraderie is there, and I just feel that has really been a priority to them, and then it's transitioned into the game that they're just we're in here, we're doing this together, nobody thinks something's above them or too silly or too funny to do, they're just going to be about that. So I think that they build pre and really in practices and any time that carries into the game, that they're just we trust each other and we're going to be in this all together. If somebody's having a tough day, somebody else is going to pick up the slack, and I think that has been a huge strength of our team, is that anybody can pick up the slack on any given day. So if they're trying to take something away from us, we got 4 other hitters or 4 other passers that can do that job. And so I just think that they have made it a mission of theirs that we are going to be together, we're going to have this chemistry and this camaraderie, and they've put a lot of effort into making sure that they protect that.
Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of people, if anyone that's familiar with volleyball and has known this team for a long time, I think that they've known that this was something that could happen for this team. But Gracie, was there a moment this season where you thought okay, we can do this, we can go to state, we can go to the Final Four?
Honestly, not really a specific moment that I can think of. I obviously always knew that this was possible for us. I think we all knew that we had to come out and we had to be at our best and we had to be there for each other, but I think we all kind of had this in the back of our mind the entire season. We took 2 tough losses to Meadowbrook, which is an incredible program, but we came out of that not holding our heads, not anything, but setting our sights on something higher. That game's over, what can we do to be better this next game? And I genuinely think we've just believed in each other every single game, and that's really carried us through.
Well, Coach, the winner goes to Wright State, right?
Yep.
To play for the state championship the very next day. How do you keep the group focused on Saturday and not skip ahead?
I think they've done a really good job of that all year, of just understanding like what's the task at hand. And so I think honestly the biggest thing Saturday is just going to be calming nerves in those situations. I hope not. I don't foresee them looking ahead, because I think like it has been one game at a time, and they know that this one's going to be so important, and each set is going to be so important, and really trying to execute the things that we're trying to do. So I think calming nerves is honestly going to be the biggest thing, and then we'll take care of Sunday when the time comes. The game after us, after we play, we'll sit and scout. We'll have film stuff prepped for them. We'll meet the next morning, try to go over the things that we're going to try to do. Sucks that we don't have a day to kind of prep in the gym like a lot of the other teams do, but both Division 5s are not going to have that opportunity. So we're just going to have to rely really heavily on our training that we've already put in, and trust that we could go get it done.
Okay, and to wrap this up, Gracie, if you could send one message to the community, we call it Panther Nation, before stepping on the floor on Saturday, what would it be?
I was kind of thinking about this yesterday, but I genuinely feel that they don't get like the recognition or the thanks that they deserve. Like the impact that they've played on us this season, I think this is the most support we've ever had from a community, and we're all so incredibly grateful. But truthfully, we want to win for them. We want to win for the fact that at Waverly we were 2 hours away and Zane Trace was 30 minutes away, and we outnumbered them huge. Like, it's just incredible the way they've shown up, lined the streets, gotten stuff for us. Like, it's truly incredible. So I definitely want them to know that they play a big role in why we're doing this and why we're playing on Saturday.
Well, thank you so much for watching. I'm Sam Rupe. I'm here with Lexi Foreman, Coach Board, and Gracie Newlon, and best of luck. Go Panthers.
Thank you.
And we're going to send it over to you, Sam.
That's my favorite part.
Well, thank you so much, Sam. I'm Sam Rupe. I'm here with Doug Clifford, Coach Board, and Mason Ryder, and we're going to be talking about football. So, Coach, Fairfield Union comes in after a strong defensive performance against Heath. When you watch them on film now compared to Week 1, what stands out about how they've grown?
Everybody gets better from Week 1 to Week 10. We've gotten a lot better as well. But something with them, they're a team that more than anything, they can control the clock. That's a team that's a thing that becomes a little frustrating at times. Is if they can take it for 8 minutes, and you go, and if you don't score, they're going to take another 8 minutes. So that quickly, you're almost to halftime and you've had one possession. So their ability to get 3 and 4 yards consistently is something that we've got to be able to get them off the field, get them behind the down and distance, so that we have an opportunity to limit those big drives where they're controlling the clock. But they're sound, they're disciplined in what they do. They've gotten a lot more aggressive up front on both sides, and they were a team coming into the year that lost nearly everybody last year. They had a brand new offensive line, and those guys have grown up a lot. So more snaps is always going to be better players. So they're a much different team, much more experienced team than they were Week 1 when they were all mostly brand new. Now they're all experienced.
What defensive scheme are you going to face?
They're a 4-man front. It's similar to Tri-Valley. They play a 4-3, but they play a little bit softer on the corners versus Tri-Valley plays a lot of cover 2. They're more of a quarters team. So you're going to see soft coverage on the outside with the corners and safeties. Really try to eliminate the big play. So we're going to have to take some calculated shots, but mostly we're going to have to kind of dink and dunk them down the field a little bit, take advantage of where the space is. But they're going to play a 7-man box. Week 1 when we played them, they played that same 7-man box, and so we've got to be able to throw them to create that space where those backers now have to walk out. Now we can get to our run box, and we just got to be able to play the numbers advantage and where our leverage is. So, like I said, they're going to try to stop the run with their 7-man box and eliminate the big plays with their soft coverage on the outside.
Well, Mason, you faced Fairfield Union Week 1, but you're a very different team now as well. What's been the biggest change defensively from the start of the season to this point?
I think in the beginning of the season, we were all just kind of like, we've had a decent bit of new guys. Tyson got hurt last year, so he didn't really play a lot of the safety. And, Terrell, he was obviously hurt all year last year, so we got some new guys, but what's have really changed is just just the confidence. I feel everyone has confidence, and Delias being the other corner, he's new this year, but he's been so confident, and he showed it time and time again that he can make a play. So I feel just the playmaking abilities from all of our players, and obviously we got one of the best linebacking crews in the league, so we're just more confident, and I'd say all around we just are more dominant than we were in week 1. So.
Well, Coach, we've talked about what the passing attack would be like against Fairfield Union, but what about the running game?
I just want to say we're going to take what they give us. If they have a 7-man box, that even if we bring in a tight end, we've still only got 6. And so unless you're using the quarterback as a runner to even out those numbers, you just don't have the numbers advantage. So we're going to do what we need to do to be able to attack what they're doing to us. Like I said, if we can equate numbers on the outside, then we'll come in. If the numbers are not in our favor, then we'll go out. But that's really our guys up top, Coach Cook, Coach Russ, being able to see what they're doing and how they're adjusting to what we're doing. That ultimate kind of that chess match piece where, here's what we're doing, here's how they're responding to that. Because there's things that we say we like right now based on what we've seen on film, but if they adjust, how do we come off of that? So, we've done a really good job running the football, but we're also not idiots. If we've got 5 versus 7, that's not quite the numbers that you're looking for. So we're not going to force anything because we feel well, hey, we've got to do this. No, we're going to take advantage of what they're giving us, and once they lighten the box up, then we'll hit them with the run. If they want to play a wide box early, then we'll run them until they want to tighten it up. So it's just, like I said, that to me is the fun part of coaching is, you can write down all the plays you think you like, but what happens when they change? What happens when they give you a different trips check than what you've practiced and prepared for? Where you've got to on the fly make adjustments and change, because it's not always what you see on film, and it's not as easy as saying, well, that guy's open, why didn't you throw it to him, right? They're doing a lot of different things to disguise what they're doing. So like I said, we've done a pretty good job, I think, this year with taking advantage of what teams are giving us, and so that was not going to change on Friday.
Well, my question here is, do you feel like it's been a month since you last played a game?
Yes.
And who do you, that's the disadvantage of our sport. You get 1 shot per week. Mm-hmm. And basketball coach gets 2. Volleyball might get 9. And baseball, they play every day. Yep. If you lose a game, big deal. So what? And we got another game in 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. So what do you guys do the first week?
We only practiced 3 days last week. Our biggest concerns were getting healthy and then really sharpening up on our techniques and fundamentals. We didn't focus so much on who we might get because it was 2 teams that were very even. So there's no way to really predict who was going to come out on top of that. So we really didn't focus so much on them. We really just focused on us. Went bowling Thursday. Kids had a good time with that and had fun, got competitive. As you throw in 60 guys and some coaches. There's some very competitive coaches that jumped in as well.
Coach, I just want you to know, if you needed a bowler, I'm a good solid 86 at any given time.
I think JB hit 300 almost.
Holy cow.
JB, can you confirm? He put his hands up like that.
Did you go to the games Friday night?
Yeah. So coaches went Friday. We went and scouted, and you're preparing for both teams until Fairfield Union got up 3 scores and starting to get late. So it's okay, this is the one we really need to focus on. But that's what my kind of message was on Monday was that, man, it feels like it's been forever since we played. And the last time we did play, we didn't come out on top. We played a really good team. We came up short. We made more mistakes than what they made, and so we've had to sit there in that feelings for the last 2 weeks. So Friday is a chance for us to right that and get to that 10-win mark. And a chance to really go out and prove something. These guys are coming to get revenge on a week 1 loss, so they're going to play hard. They've gotten more confidence as the year's gone on, so it'll be a great opportunity for our guys to go out on Friday and kind of show how they felt the last time we stepped on the field, which, like you said, it seems like a very long time ago.
Well, we're such a routine. Mm-hmm. Monday we do this, Tuesday we do this, Wednesday we do this, and you do that for 10 weeks. And all of a sudden it is week 10 and it's just flowing by. Do you think you're going to have the kids are going to have any trouble refocusing? After 10 days off, you give kids this age 10 minutes to get lost and they'll be in Borneo.
I don't know where that is.
I don't either.
Yeah. No, I think our kids have done a good job. They've stayed focused. Like I said, last week there's no opponent, and so like last week's the week you're thinking, okay, this could be a good week where focus could drop off and do some, be more detrimental. Like I said, we really lightened the load last week to make sure guys were healthy, but also, hey, here's are some things that teams are going to attack if we don't fix it, if we don't get better. And last week I don't feel like there was a let up. Again, kids came in focused because the last time they played was a loss. And sometimes a loss can be a good thing. It's not the result that we wanted. We wanted the 10-0. We wanted to go 2-0 in Perry County, but like I said, unfortunately, we didn't do enough to win that game. And so guys came back with something to prove last week and worked diligently for 3 days. This week we've had 2 really good days of practice so far, and just kind of remind them again, hey man, the last thing you did on the field was a loss. These guys have come in with 5 straight wins. Their only losses are to playoff teams that are still in it. So they're going to go ahead and try to get revenge from that week 1 and prove that they're a much different team than they were.
Well, Mason, I'm sure that there's definitely some fuel to the fire because of the Sheridan loss, but the main thing is against Fairfield Union, a team that is so good at controlling the clock. How are you going to stay composed and poised in that kind of scenario? Because I'm sure that everybody wants to go out and hit as hard as they can and all that just because of the loss in week 10, but how are you and the team going to stay composed?
We have such a great coaching staff, and we always do our RPR, and we're always calm, cool, and collected. And on the field, I know I'm kind of a hothead on the field sometimes, and the other guys have to get on me. But I know, just like as a senior team captain, like we have to focus. Last time we were on that field at our home stadium, we took a loss, and yeah, that hurts, but. You can't sit there and dwell on it. You got to take it on the chin and just stay focused. And we watch so much film throughout the week, so we're just ready. And we have to just, as a DB, I have to keep my eyes out of the backfield, and focus on the pass. But at the same time, I have to help with the run because we obviously know that they're like a run-heavy team. So, we just got to stay cool, calm, and collected, but we're fine. We're such a focused team and have a great staff. So,
well, here's the thing I worry about is, take that turd out of your pocket from last time you played. Forget that. That never even happened. That has no effect on this game. You guys beat these guys the last time. From what I've seen, mainly in NFL games where they play a common opponent, the team that loses, they make a lot of adjustments. The team that wins, they don't tend to make very many adjustments because we won. We know what we're doing. Here's what worked. We're just going to reemphasize that. Well, this other team, they're thinking, well, we're going to do something different. So what would you anticipate that they do a little differently?
They've changed a little bit schematically. Well, not schematically. Formationally, they've done some different twists. Their personnel has changed a little bit. Their left side of the line is the same that was week 1, but their right guard, right tackle, both brand new guys. One of their guys that played fullback has moved up to the offensive line. Same thing on defense. They made some adjustments. Guys get banged up, guys get hurt, or somebody really shows out, and they step up and into some new roles. So, like I said, they're not just going to come out and play us how they did week 1 with a bunch of brand new guys where let's be very vanilla, let's be very basic. Now it's week 12. They've had all these weeks to prep, and they've been able to add twists and things as they go. So I think we'll see a more complex defense than what we saw week 1 when it was like, hey, listen, let's play our base. Let's be really good here. Let's be sound. And offensively, the quarterback is running the ball a lot more than what he did early. So we've got to be prepared for that. There were some tendencies that they had early that, because again, they're very new guys. So it was very strong. Hey, that when they're in this is what they're doing. They've added now some things that help to balance those out. So they're not as predictable as what they were week 1 and scheme heavy. Like, hey, if this is the set, you're either getting this or this. Now there's 3 or 4 options. So they've gotten better. They've added complexity. So there's been more that we have to be able to prepare for that. But like you said, I don't imagine we're going to see the exact same team we saw week 1.
Well, Mason, in playoff games, every single snap feels just a little bit more important, a little bit bigger. So what helps keep you centered and just able to play football and not listen to the outside noise?
Really, I don't know about the other guys, but for me, as soon as I put the helmet on, I'm laser focused. Any outside noise, it's just me and the opponent. And on that field, I don't ever listen to any of the student section or anything like that. I'm just so locked in and focused on the game because, all anyone ever wants to do is just go out there and win. And I think the other guys are the exact same way because we're always so focused and we just have so much love for the game and each other, and we're just ready to step out there and we don't let the outside affect us. So I think we'll be good.
I've always admired and threatened my defensive backs because if you're attacked when you make a mistake, you got Harrison and the linebacker core right behind you. If you make a mistake at linebacker, you got you guys back there.
Yeah.
If you guys make a mistake, the coach is yelling extra point defense on the field.
Yeah.
So what's it like? That's to me. I never I would have had to learn how to run to play defensive back, which was not a factor. So what's it like? You're kind of out there on an island no matter what.
Sometimes when I was younger, freshman, sophomore year, it was definitely tough. But, obviously I had such great group of guys ahead of me, like Bentley Hansen and Chase Dumont back in the day. So I've learned from really the best. And, our defensive back coach, Coach Spurgis, he's great. He teaches us the best technique. And, I feel like I'm athletic enough to play with really anyone. So it's 95% confidence at corner because, like you said, we're out there on an island. So I just got to believe in myself because I know all 10 other guys on the field believe in me. So it's more about a self-belief thing. And you can go out there and play with really anybody. You just got to put your mind to it. And I'd say that's the big thing I used to struggle with. But this year, if it's me, if I'm pressed on a guy and I'm on an island, I'm 100% confident that I'm winning that rep. So really, you just got to have confidence and believe in yourself.
Well, Coach, we've talked about the mentality that the players should have coming into this game, but schematically, what's something that you're looking for the team to improve upon this week?
We got to be better in special teams. We had a kickoff for a touchdown last week. Of course, there were holds that were missed, but there was blocks that we didn't get off of. We had a couple of big plays. We lost the ball going into the red zone. We threw a pick backed up, which led to a touchdown. So we've got to do a better job in all phases. Defense, we did well. We doubled them up in yardage. But we had 2 turnovers, they had none. When you throw in a special teams touchdown, that's really 3 big plays that made a difference. And when you're playing good teams, which is what you're going to see now, there's not going to be a game where we're up by 30 at the end of the first quarter. Yeah, if there is, I'm glad, right? But I don't anticipate that. So, the margin for error gets smaller and smaller each week. And so that's what we've got to continue to sharpen our sword and prepare for what's still to come and really just cut down on our own mental mistakes. I really feel like, and it's probably been said somewhere, that more teams lose games than win. So you've got to make fewer mistakes, you've got to have fewer penalties, fewer turnovers, and more times than not, you're going to win that game. Very rarely are you the team that has less turnovers, less penalties, and you lose. And so we've got to do, a great job of protecting the football. It looks like rain, which we haven't had nearly all year.
No, not at all.
Especially the rain that looks like it's coming. So we've got to take care of the football and protect it on Friday night. But at the end of the day, we've got to be better in everything we do. We got to continue to each week get better. That's been the message really since week 1, that we're not preparing for right now. We're preparing for the long haul. We're preparing for a week 13, 14 opponent that's going to be a tremendous opponent. So we've got to be able to minimize our own mistakes.
Well, speaking of the wet field, on a natural surface on a rainy night, man, the team with that 250-pound fullback, they have the advantage over the team like you guys are, based on speed and hitting the perimeters with passes. How's the footing on a wet field, Mason? Have you been out there when it was wet?
Yeah, and last year, against Morgan last year, it was so rainy, and we had struggles on offense catching the ball, but I'm pretty confident in Paul Stinson. Great running back, obviously best in the NBL, so I think he can get it done for the offense. And defensively, I mean, sometimes like if they run like a corner or like a comeback, you know, it's hard to get your footing sometimes. But you know, I mean, that's just something you got to prepare for, because obviously we don't play in the dome and we can't control the weather. So I mean, we just got to be ready for it. Keep your footing. I mean, as long as we have like good technique, then you shouldn't slip. But you know, it's bound to happen if it rains. But we just gotta get over it, because I mean, it's the same exact for the other team too. So
I've been working on that dome. I tell Coach Padgett every year, man, the dome would sure be sweet.
No, man, he's bound to find one somewhere in Kentucky like that press box.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, I mean,
I work on them every day.
It's a giant umbrella, something.
Yes.
Well, Mason, being a senior playing sports, it adds so much more to it. So what does it mean to be a senior team captain for this team this year, and with the historical season that you've already had, but you are able to now build upon it and make it even more historical?
You know, I mean, I've been part of like really great teams, you know, from freshman year to senior year. You know, every year we've made the playoffs, and every year I feel like we just get better and better. You know, last year we had such a great group of guys, and they took a lot of pride in coaching up the younger guys. And obviously, like this year, like I care about my season so much, but I just want to make sure, the biggest thing I want to do is leave an impact on the younger guys, like the seniors left for me when I was younger. So, you know, really, we're really building. Like right now is time for them to get better. You know, in practice, they're all busting their butts just as hard as us to make us better. But, you know, in the long run, I mean, after this year, my new Lex football is over. So I'm just trying to really help the young guys right now and just build to have a great season next year. So,
Coach, how good is it for all these younger guys to get multiple weeks extra every single year for more experience? So how does that benefit the team in the long run?
Oh, it's huge, Sam. This senior group had 3 weeks of playoffs last year, and then won the 2 years before that. You know, so that's an extra half a season that they've got of practice and development, working on those techniques and fundamentals that Mason talked about. They've already gotten 2 this year. You know, so this year's juniors for next year, they'll have 5, 6 extra weeks, right? So the goal, I didn't want to throw that extra number in. Those extra weeks of practice and development are instrumental for what we do and trying to grow and get better. You know, it's like I said, when you are playing those extra weeks, that's extra weeks of practice. And for those young guys that are going to have to step up and fill a Mason's shoes next year, a Paul's shoes, a Tristan Braden's shoes, a Harrison Ratliff, like there's going to be some big shoes to fill. When you have 6, 8 extra weeks of practice, 9, 10, however many it gets to, you know, that's just helping you to feel more comfortable in taking over that next year, which is why we don't change schematically year by year, because you're getting extra reps in this game. You know, there's years where we feel like, well, you know, we might have to tweak this or that, but it's tough to do that because of, you know, like I said, the development. You know, Mason's played in the same system for all 4 years, plus 5 additional weeks, you know, plus whatever we're getting this year. So he's getting a ton more reps in that system to really understand the ins and outs of it, and not just his piece, but where he fits into the whole puzzle. You know, where we're weak, where we're strong, where he can be a little softer because he's got help. Those things all come with those extra weeks.
So what does a victory this week mean for next week?
It means we're going to week 13. You know,
I tell you what, Coach, you got me on that one.
Yeah, no, it would just be.
So where will you be playing?
We'll be at the Rock, man. The rules have changed this year. So last year it was top 16, and the first 2 rounds were home field to the top seed. And then it was regional semis where we lost Indian Valley. That was your neutral site. Regional finals, neutral state semis were neutral. This year it's regional finals is the first neutral site game. So week 14. So with the win on Friday night, we would be home again week 13, facing the winner of Columbus East, who's the 5 seed, and Unioto, who's the 4 seed.
Oh, my brother's team, former team, played Unioto to start the season. He said they're really good.
Yeah, they're good. They're the only 10-0 team in our region. So, and they've been good the last couple of years. But that would be so again, with a win, we don't have to leave our home confines until regional final, which is a step that we'd like to see and take. We've only had one group get to that step, and that was the 08 team that went on to win that and become a state semifinalist. So, you know, everything we want still out in front of us, but we got to take care of this week before we can worry about next.
Yeah. And we might have a dome by then.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Especially if Coach Padgett gets wet this week, he might go and find one.
Well, Mason, my final question is this. If you could say one thing to the community, to the Panther fans before kickoff, what would that message be?
I don't know, Sam. I talked to a defensive guy. It might not be printed. It might not be safe to print that kind of message.
Yeah.
No, I just say, get excited, get loud, We're going to be ready. You guys be ready too, Hey, we're going to win this week, and we're going to be back at the Rock next week. I expect the Hill to be filled. I want people to be there supporting us, We're going to make you guys proud. That's all I want to say. You guys just ready to watch a good show.
Heck yeah. Well, thank you so much for watching. I'm Sam Rupe, Doug Clifford, Coach Board, and Mason Ryder, and best of luck. Go Panthers.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you, guys.